Oh, the land of the free and the home of the brave. I'm a proud American from my birth to the grave. 47's the top, took a bullet for all. Didn't flinch, didn't run, still the answer the call. And we say, be tight, be tight, be tight. Officer Tatum show. Be tight, be tight, be tight. Officer Tatum show. Oh, the land of the free and the home of the brave. I'm a proud American from my birth to the grave. 47's the top, took a bullet for all. Didn't flinch, didn't run, still the answer the call. And we say, be tight, be tight, be tight. Officer Tatum show. Be tight, be tight, be tight. Officer Tatum show.
If you don't believe that we are in a fight today, you're sleeping under a rock. If you get hit and you lay down and you cry and you fold up in the corner, definitely you will not win the fight. We show up to win. Our culture needs a lot of you young people in here to step up and stand out. There is nothing or no principality, power, division, devil can stop us when we're united. They can only get you when you're divided. When I see the American flag, I see us progressing to something that can be awesome and great. And if you don't plan on winning then, you might as well go home today.
What's going on, ladies and gentlemen, ladies? Welcome back to another Officer Tatum show. We got a lot to talk about. You know your girl, Simone Biles movement. I'm just playing. I don't want to be salacious. But Simone Biles made an apology to Riley Gaines. Well, matter of fact, her ChatGPT account made an apology to Riley Gaines because I don't think she wrote this. And even if she did write it, she doubled down on stupidity. Let me read it to you. And then I'm like, who raising these people, man? Who raising Simone Biles, man? Like this is my thing. Some black people and others have opportunities to be revolutionary. They get a little bit of fame and then they stupid. They go stupid. They literally lose their mind. Let me read her apology to you and I'm gonna tell you how silly she is. She might as well not even wrote an apology. She literally doubled down on the stupidity that led her to have to make an apology. Let's go from the top. I wanted to follow up on my last tweets. I've always believed in competitive equity and inclusion, or I always believe competitive equity and inclusion are both essential in sports. What is competitive equity and inclusivity? What does that mean? What does that even mean? Equity, inclusivity. Well, we already got male, female sports. What are we doing here? And there's no equity in sports because black people dominate majority of the sports that have to do with sprinting and athleticism. You're not crying about equity in that. Let me finish her statement. The current system doesn't adequately balance these important principles, which often leads to frustration and heated exchanges. And it didn't help for me to get personal with Riley, which I apologize for. These are sensitive, complicated issues that I truly don't have the answers or solutions to, but I believe it starts with empathy and respect. First and foremost, it's not complicated. Simone, it's not complicated, bruh. If you're a boy, you have a biological advantage over women in sports, so do not compete against women. It's not complicated. If you are a real person with a real heart and your parents raised you right, you should know that if you're trying to be a woman, you should be beating the brakes off women, discriminating against women, or creating unfair environments for women, whipping your wang out in a locker room in front of women. That's common sense. That's not complex. All right, let me finish where I leave off at. I was not advocating for policies that compromise fairness in women's sports. You weren't. You criticized her for the very thing you claim you're not opposing. She is saying it's unfair to force boys to compete against girls, and you're saying you're not advocating for policies of unfairness. Yes, you are. The fact that you would question what Riley Gaines is doing is already, creating an environment where you're pushing something that's unfair. Okay, my objection is to be singling out children for public scrutiny in ways that feel personal and harmful. Individual athletes, especially kids, should never be the focus of criticism of a flawed system they have no control over. I believe sports organizations have a responsibility to come up with rules supporting inclusion while maintaining fair competition. We all want a future for sport that is fair, inclusive, and respectful. What kids are you talking about? Riley didn't have, you claim that she mad because she lost. She actually tied. But if she did lose to the boy, then that's not a kid. Riley Gaines' whole argument is not about kids. And are you really trying to use word salads and language to project the 18-year-old as a kid, as if they're little children and kids? Is that what you're doing, Simone? Because I don't hear of little kids getting raked over the coals by biological men. Nobody sees little kids. We're not talking about little children. We're talking about the state championship in the state of California. Washington State, Oregon, California, high school championships. These are 17, 18-year-old people. What kids are you talking about? What criticism of children are we talking about? I don't know, man. I'm trying not to get all upset, but I can't stand these people, man. I really can't stand Simone Biles. You're an embarrassment. I hope your whole legacy is washed away based on how stupid you really are. This is not a moment of a lapse of judgment. This is pure stupidity. What woman is sitting at home thinking, sports are not inclusive enough? Because we got men who are delusional about what gender they are, and they going and beating the brakes off of women and cheering it, and somehow it's confusing. It's not confusing. It's that if you are in this mode of confused about your gender, you need to sit out of sports. You can't play sports. You need to sit out. Cry me a river. At least you a girl now, right? But you can't play sports. Why? Because it's unfair. You spent your whole life literally taking steroids. And now at the 11th hour, you want to switch over to being a girl. And you can't just go to school and get an education and go on to college and do something. You got to play the sport that you will beat out of the girls in. Let's be clear about this real quick. I want us to be very clear about this. This is evil, malicious, and intentional. There is no way in the world a rational, logical person that have a conscience would say, I feel like I have gender dysphoria and I feel like I'm in the wrong body. Yet you're still working out and you're still running on the track, you're still training, but you feel I'm confused. You still know what your 100-meter dash time is. You know what your 400-meter dash time is. You know what weights you lifted in the locker room. You know how you swim. You know how you run. You know how you practice on the triple jump. While you're confused, you're still training. And you can look at it and say, dang, I'm last place amongst the guys. But when you go to the track meet and you see the girls long jump and you see the men long jump, you know that right now you jumping 1.5 feet. They're not 1.5 feet. They jumping 8 feet further than the women. You know for a fact, you 3-4 seconds faster than all the women. You know that. while you're having your gender dysphoria. You're not detached from reality just because you feel like you're in the wrong body. You do all that training, you do all that practicing, and then when you transition, you practice with girls and you beating it out of them. Every practice, every relay, every triple jump, and you bigger than they are, and you stronger than they are. And you know that this is the truth. And you do it anyway. You're a scumbag. You're a dirtbag. I have no respect for you. I have no respect for you. I hope that the Lord don't send you to hell for your behavior. You are evil. I don't want to hear nobody tell you, when you 18, you are evil if you do this. If you transition, knowing that you jump 8 feet further than every girl in the state, you should have enough wisdom and enough love for women to say it's not fair. It's not fair. Like I'm because I was born a man, I got an advantage. Because I know that my friend who was a girl that transitions to a man can't even play sports. She can't make the team. So why can't she make the team? She a man now, right? Why can't she compete with men? She a man, right? No, because she's a woman. Find me a trans woman that wins state in a male sport, and I'll quit this show. I'll quit the show. I'll quit the moment. Show me a trans man. That means a girl that go to a man that win a state championship in California, Oregon, state of Washington, Texas. Find me a girl that win a state championship over men that transition to being a man. And I'll find you 3 that win that transition to being a woman. Why is that, Simone Biles? Why is that? It's just a coinky dink. Just so happen, roll the dice, just so happen every trans woman can beat all the women in sports. And just so happen every trans man don't even play sports. Because they'll get mauled. It's not that hard. But let's stop being nice to these people, and let's start marking these devils when we see them. You're a devil. You're evil, and you're gonna go to hell if you don't change your ways. Ain't nobody cared that you confused about your gender. But when you start hurting other people in the process, you're a devil, you're evil, and we're gonna call you out. Period. You look like Frankenstein with a wig on. Then don't go in the girl's bathroom because it's confusing. You know you don't look like a woman. Quit playing games. You don't look like a woman. You're ugly. You're a big, ugly dude with a dress and a wig on. You knew when you looked in the mirror that you ugly. So how about when you go out of the play, you say, I get it. I am trying to work on it. Let me just go to the bathroom at my house because I don't want to scare people going in this bathroom because I want to feel welcome. That's like a guy. I don't know. This analogy may not be good. I'm trying to figure. Okay, let's put this analogy in place. That's like me going to a gym, and I know that there's going to be middle school girls at the gym. But at the gym, they want me to put a Speedo on. Think about this for a minute. As a grown man, I say that's not appropriate. I'll put some shorts over my tights. Because why? It don't make sense for me to go in some place and I know kids gonna be exposed to this stuff. That's stupid. I don't care what my feelings are. I don't care what I feel like I have the right to do. It don't make sense for you to subjugate young people to a man wearing a Speedo at a freaking gym. Now, men don't dress like that. It's only these sloppy Joe women that do stuff like that. But you shouldn't do that. Okay, if I was in a cycling class and I had my cyclist shorts on, I'm like, man, if it's gonna be a co-ed thing with kids and stuff in there, I just put some shorts over your stuff, man. You don't want no kid looking at your junk hanging out. But you know, an evil person will say, oh, I have the right to do this. I don't care. So you're open to exposing yourself to people that you know better than to be doing that with. You know, I could go on and on and on. It's just, it doesn't make sense when a person know better and they choose to do evil anyway. That's just how I look at it. All right, let's get to the illegal immigrant stuff that's just continuing to go out of control. We'll get to the actual riots in a minute, but I want to show this clip that was on the news about the separation of families. I don't know how many times rational, logical, frontal lobe developed human beings say this. I don't know how many times we got to say this for leftists to get it. I guess they don't want to get it. They want us to lie. They want to live a lie. Separation from families ain't a real thing. If you go to jail, your kids can't go with you. And just because you're an illegal alien don't mean your kids get to go to jail with you. Or you get to escape jail because you got kids in your household. If I go out right now and get a DUI with Bo in the car, his mama going to come pick him up, and I'm going to jail. And Bo is going to cry watching me go to jail. But that don't mean I don't get to go to jail because my kid is crying, and I'm getting separated from my kid and my wife. My oldest son probably don't care. He's 14. But my youngest will be crying. Come on, man. Roll the clip.
There's news in America every single day. There are children that cry when their mom or dad, who's an American citizen that breaks the law, gets arrested and goes to jail. I have watched it, and there's no rioting and looting over that because we understand that we're either a country of laws or we are not a country of laws. Every day we send moms and dads who are American citizens to prison, and we separate them from their families. And you know why we don't feel sorry for them? Because we judge them on the law, and we say if you break the law in America, we put you in jail. So why is it different for illegal immigrants?
Somebody answer that question. Why is it different for illegal immigrants? Why are these people advocating that it's such a crime if people get separated when they commit crimes and breaking the law? It makes no sense to me. Stephen A. Smith even weighed in on this and had something to say about it regarding Gavin Newsom. Let's see what Stephen A. had to say.
Why the hell are you playing right into the hands of Donald Trump? Because I got news for you. On this particular issue, as it involves migrants, immigrants, those who are undocumented, dare we say illegal, in the United States of America, he's winning on this issue. There's a reason he won the popular vote. There's a reason he won the Electoral College vote. There's a reason he won every swing state. There are people within the United States of America that want our immigration crisis addressed and want the situation resolved somehow, some way. And the person that seems eager to bring a resolution to the table is President Donald Trump. Now, others may challenge that because they may say we had a bipartisan agreement when Joe Biden was in office that Donald Trump convinced the GOP to nix because he wanted to use it as an issue to favor him during the election. Well, damn it, it worked. It worked. And I got news for you, Governor Newsom. It's working now.
Is he wrong? I don't think he's wrong. The bill that they claiming that was a bipartisan bill that Donald Trump told him to strike down is bullcrap. Things doesn't work that way. What happened is they put minutia in that bill. They put Ukraine support and they put all this other stuff in it, and they put border security in it, and they go, see, we did border security. No, you didn't. I don't respect Congress at all until they start putting singular bills out instead of putting a bill with a bunch of crap in it. Let's just focus on the border. We don't have to put Ukraine and all this foreign aid and let's talk about the border. Let's just only focus on this, and then we can pass the next bill that's partnering with this. But let's talk about immigration. They won't do that. They won't pass a bill specifically on immigration. We know that Joe Biden had the executive power to do exactly what Trump did with shutting the border, but he didn't want to do it. They're full of crap. We know they're full of crap. And I'll add this. I do believe your boy Gavin Newsom is dropping the ball because these people are continuing to just act as if nothing is happening in California. And the world is not only looking through the eyes of CNN and MSDNC, they have people like myself and others who have our own ability to disseminate media and news. And we don't have a filter on it. We just tell it like it is. We're not beholden to somebody paying us to say certain things. Let's look at what Karen Bass said, which I think was absolutely asinine. Roll the clip.
I mean, we didn't need the National Guard. Why on earth? What are they going to do? Do you know what the National Guard is doing now? They are guarding two buildings. They're guarding the federal building here in downtown, and they're guarding the federal building in Westwood. That's
Okay,
what they're
pause.
doing. So
Now, think how stupid this is. I don't know if her Jerry Carroll is getting to her or what. You know how stupid you got to be literally complaining about the National Guard and then in the same sentence say that the National Guard isn't doing anything? So what's the harm in the National Guard being there if they're not doing nothing? If they're quote unquote not effective, then who cares if the National Guard is there? Now, we know, people that have common sense know, that they deployed the National Guard because you have to defend the federal buildings. And these people are so radical that they're looting and burning down buildings and cars and all kind of other stuff that they're doing, that we need to protect the federal building because they will go after the federal buildings. They tried to do it already. They tried to kill ICE agents, Border Patrol agents. They try to burn down the facilities. We've seen them in 2020 burn down police stations. So that's why the National Guard is there. You just debunked your whole argument of acting like Donald Trump's National Guard deployment is escalating. How is it escalating, you dummy? If you were saying they only at the buildings, the federal buildings. How is it escalating if they only at these buildings and they nowhere near the violence? You can't make this stuff up. Roll the clip.
they need Marines on top of it? I don't understand that. That's why I feel like we are part of an experiment that we did not ask to be a part of. Last Thursday, there was nothing happening in this town that called for the raids that took place on Friday. Nothing was happening. Nothing warranted the raids. If you remember at the beginning of this administration, we were told that raids would be to look for violent criminals, people who had warrants. But I don't know how you go from a drug dealer to a Home Depot.
Hold on.
To people's work.
Hey, dummy. In case you don't understand how investigations work, the people at the Home Depot may be under investigation too. Have you ever thought of that? Wow. You got to be a gangbanger in a. They're like an investigation is a person selling drugs at the trap house, and all the drug dealers that are associated with a criminal enterprise are all at the trap house waiting for you. No, dummy. You just heard Tom Homan say that they went and did a drug bust like they always do with people who are connected to this criminal enterprise, and some of them fools probably was at Home Depot. Just because you're at Home Depot looking for work don't mean you ain't a part of a criminal enterprise. They know better, though. They know better, Nick. They know better than this. But they do it anyway. They get on TV and grandstand anyway. This woman knows that Tom Homan said very clearly that they were doing an investigation, executing a warrant that they had to arrest multiple people involved in criminal activity. And this dumb B for Bass, Dumb Bass, that's what I'm gonna call her, Dumb Bass, Karen Dumb Bass. That's a great shirt, Dumb Bass. That's a great shirt.
Slap her face on an actual bass.
She is a dummy. But Tom Homan said what he said. She's privy to that information, and she want to go on a rampage to tell you the Home Depot don't have people that commit crimes at it. Roll the clip.
Places where they're just trying to make a living. At Home Depot, you have day laborer centers so that the people that are trying to seek work each and every day will have a place to be so that it doesn't interfere with the business. These are not the people that we were told were going to be detained. And it makes me feel like our city is actually a test case for what happens when the federal government moves in and takes the authority away from the state or away from local government. I don't think that our city should be used for an experiment to see what happens in the nation's second largest city. Well, maybe we can do this to other cities. Stop the raids, period.
Hold on, stop, you bald head scallywag. That's what we call them back in the day. Why don't they do it in New York then? They're going to test it on America's second largest city. Why not the first largest city, which is closer to D.C.? They're going to come all across the whole country just to test y'all. That's what you trying to tell people. Why don't they test it in a small town, a small city, so they can prep it? Then they can accelerate the testing on y'all. Ain't nobody tested nothing, fool. They burning down the streets and looting and doing all kind of stuff. Is that all that she had to say? I don't want to hear nothing else she got to say. Let's go to the store owner. Let's go to the looting. And nothing is happening here. Nothing to see, ladies and gentlemen. We had no problems in the city until they enforced the law. That's what she's saying. We had no problems until they enforced the immigration laws. Roll the clip.
This is so ridiculous. Doesn't look like this is for they're protesting for ICE or anything. This is they're doing just for the looting the stores and everything. I saw they break into the Apple store, they break into the Adidas store. This is not they're doing protest.
They just trying to make an example out of us. They're trying to experiment. They're just peacefully protesting. Peacefully protesting. Let's go to the video of the cops arresting the looters right there at the front of that store. Roll it. Chaos. Now, why does the public have to deal with this? It should be zero tolerance, no nonsense approach by the people you pay your tax dollars to. But Karen Bass and Gavin Newsom want to convince you that it's nothing really going on and it's Donald Trump's fault. What does the National Guard that only protect federal buildings have to do with the looting and killing and stealing and thugging in the middle of the street, throwing rocks on cops and all that stuff? How does him saying we need to deploy the National Guard to protect our federal buildings because these people are out of control? What does that have to do with these people doing what they're doing? He's just trying to make an example of what? You guys are not going to protect the federal buildings. You guys are not going to protect the federal agents. You guys just let them throw rocks and bludgeon all these federal agents doing their job. They're not protected. They're trying to break into the ICE facilities. Congress members trying to go into ICE facilities. Like, what are you talking about? Y'all not going to do anything. So the president logically has to deploy the National Guard. Bush did it. Bush Sr. did it. I think Clinton even did it. Y'all have nothing to say when other people do it, but when Trump do it, it's a nightmare. Let's go to Cori Bush, sorry self. Y'all, I used to think that in order to be a senator, that you had to be intelligent, you had to have some gumption, you had to be, have integrity, decorum. I realize you can be a complete idiot and be a senator. You can be a complete idiot with a resume, but dumber than a bag of rocks, you can be a senator like Cory Booker. Roll the clip.
Look, since years before I was born, law enforcement knows it's good when there's cooperation and coordination. For the president to do this when it wasn't requested, breaking with generations of tradition, is only going to incite the situation and make things worse. We are now at a point where we have a president who sat back and did nothing as people stormed our Capitol, viciously beat police. And then when those people who viciously beat police and led to some of their deaths, therefore cop killers,
led to their deaths,
were convicted by juries.
Hold on.
He then...
I got to stop this guy. First and foremost, you can't say Trump didn't do nothing. He asked Nancy Pelosi to deploy the National Guard ahead of the rally and the election, and they refused to. But then he told people, peacefully let your voice be heard. Some people, there were hundreds of thousands of people attending his rally. Hundreds of thousands. A fraction of those people decided to go into the Capitol building. A very small portion of all those people that were in D.C. that day decided to go to the Capitol building. And an even smaller portion decided to be physical with law enforcement officers. Nobody was injured, hurt, or assaulted in the Capitol, not even police. They got into the Capitol. They didn't fight anybody. They didn't harm anybody. There was no fights. There was no altercation between January 6ers and police in the mother-freaking building where the insurrection was happening. Do I need to pull up footage? Capitol Police standing right next to where Ashley Babbitt walked through the window at. They're standing right next to her. They were in front of the door. Capitol Police were standing right in front of the door like this. Nobody had a gun out. Nobody was doing anything. Nobody got physical. Nobody hurt anybody. They're standing right in front of the door. They moved to the side of the door. They're standing right next to Ashley Babbitt when she climbed through the window. They didn't grab her. They didn't pull a gun out. The tactical team came up the stairs, didn't get physical with nobody, didn't have to shoot anybody, didn't have to touch anybody. And you mother suckers are calling this some crazy happening, some crazy January 6th event. And January 6th, they didn't have to call the National Guard because the people at the January 6th Capitol building just walked out the building. They just left. The cops didn't force them out. National Guard didn't show up. They just left. They walked right out the front door. The vote was completed. You can argue that was stupid that they did that. You can argue about the people who fought police officers. They were wrong and they deserve to go to jail. Anybody that was committing violent crimes should go to jail. But 90% of the people were just walking around the building like idiots. Just walking around sightseeing. Didn't get violent with nobody. But yet they have violence that's perpetuated on television for the world to see. They're throwing rocks and injuring cops. They're looting businesses. They're blocking roadways and streets and causing chaos. Graffitiing stuff, damaging patrol cars, damaging Waymos, waving a foreign country's flag. And they're doing it all around the country. We just focus on LA right now. They tried to do it in Phoenix. Bruh, what the F are you talking about? Led to the things that led to their death. Nobody got charged for killing a Capitol Police officer. So how are you claiming that it led to their death? If you injure a cop and it caused them to die, you get charged with murder. Why nobody was charged with murder? Because this is a lie. Roll the clip.
Pardon them all. So for him to be talking to anybody right now about responsive law enforcement to protect people is hypocritical at best. The reality is we see peaceful protests launching in Los Angeles. And again, any violence against police officers should not be accepted. Local authorities can handle that. But remember, a lot of these peaceful protests are being generated because the President of the United States is sowing chaos and confusion by arresting people who are showing.
Peaceful protests of what? ICE. When ICE begin to make arrests, what do? They assaulted them. It's a coordinated effort. It wasn't that a few people were out there and they had no intentions to throw rocks at people and they had no intentions to do anything. And then all of a sudden, Donald Trump said, I'm going to send in Border Patrol. And they start throwing rocks at people. These normal people that would never be violent just start picking up rocks and throwing it and trying to kill people. Okay. They tried to kill those ICE agents. Throwing a rock through the windshield can kill somebody. Throwing a brick off of a freeway while a car is driving is attempted murder. What are we talking about? There are kids that did the very same thing. They threw a brick off the side of the freeway. The brick went through the windshield and killed somebody. So you don't throw a brick off to damage the car. You throw a brick off if you want to kill somebody. They are attempting to murder cops. Okay, finish it.
Up for their immigration hearings, who are trying to abide by the law. He's arresting them. And you see this in communities that are Republican, Trump supporters, being outraged that he's raiding kitchens and arresting
You're going
people,
to hell,
high
bro.
schools, and
You're
arresting
going straight to
people
hell.
who are not what he said he would do, which is focus
You're going straight to hell.
law enforcement resources on
I'm
violent
done listening to him.
criminals.
You're going to hell, you lying devil. These people claim that Trump is so, it makes me so mad because these people claim that Trump is so in division. They are the ones so in division. He going to soup kitchens. They know that's not true. They don't have the ability to randomly go to random places where random Mexicans are. Everybody knows that you can have the investigatory affidavits and search warrants should all be made public so we can see. It's Mexicans everywhere. How do they know to go to the soup kitchen? Put that in your mind. How do they know to go to this soup kitchen then? There's Home Depots everywhere in the country. There's probably 400 Home Depots in California. Why they go to this Home Depot? In LA alone, there's probably like 15 Home Depots. Why this one though? Why didn't they go to every Home Depot? They went to one Home Depot. And it's because that Home Depot had people that were under a specific investigation. They know that to be true. They go into soup kitchens. There's 100 million soup kitchens with Mexicans in it who are illegal in America. Why don't they go to all of them? That's because they only go into that kitchen because there's a person in there that have a warrant for their arrest. They violated the law. They violated immigration policy. They cannot go after random grandmas. They're going after real evil criminals. They just so happen to work in the kitchen. They just so happen to be at Home Depot. They just so happen to be over here and over here. And then when they break through the door to go get the murderer that y'all mother freakers won't even acknowledge, when they go get the murderer, also Juan Garcia is right here. He also has to be deported. Y'all want them to go in the house, do a raid and say, this is a bad guy. But all of y'all that violated immigration law, we're going to let y'all go. Y'all just keep raping people and doing what you're doing. We'll wait till we catch you one day, and we're going to just go for these people. Cory Booker and them, I hope they burn in hell for what they doing. I try not to be personal and get upset, but it makes me upset because our country could be such a unified, beautiful country, but these devils have to sow discord, yet gaslight us into saying that it's Donald Trump's fault. It's not Donald Trump's fault that immigration authorities are doing their job. You don't throw rocks at a car. What are y'all throwing rocks for? You can stand on the side and protest. Throwing rocks is not protest. I would think differently if they would jump on the cars and wave American flag. I'd be like, yeah, you stupid, but at least you got a point. Y'all, they on waving Mexican flags. Let's see what Pam Bundy has to say. Roll it.
What can this federal government do to protect law enforcement and the people in L.A.?
Sean, what we're going to do is we are going to enforce the law regardless of what they do. Look at it out there. It looks like a third world country, and it's not. It's the United States of America. We are not standing for it. Donald Trump won't stand for it. And something else tonight, look at all those great men and women in the LAPD. we are going to protect them. If they will not protect them and prosecute people that abuse the LAPD in terms during a civil unrest under 18 U.S.C. 231, we can prosecute federally people who assault state law enforcement officers with a maximum of 5 years in prison, and we are going to do it. We are going to prosecute them federally. If California won't protect their law enforcement, we will protect the LAPD and the sheriff's office out there. Not only that,
I don't need to hear 7 minutes of her. It's like a 7-minute clip, isn't it? I just want, that's all I need to hear. Now, Pam Bundy, you better do what you said you're going to do. I swear before... Anyway, I'm not going to swear before the Lord. But I promise you, if I don't hear nobody getting arrested for felonies, I'm going to clown Pam Bundy. Don't get on the TV and be cute and say stuff you ain't going to do. These people better be prosecuted federally. If you do not, I will never trust nothing you say. Because sometimes the Republicans get on TV and they get all cute. Oh, we going to do this. We going to do this. And y'all don't do nothing. Nobody's in jail. They all running free and bludgeoning people just like they did in 2020. And Republicans didn't do nothing. So if you could prosecute them federally, I don't want to hear no ifs, ands, or buts. Send they butt to prison federally. If not, shut the front door and don't say nothing else on the TV. All right, let's go to Greta Thunberg. Or Thunberg, or whatever they call her. That idiot that looked like her daddy. She looked like her daddy with a mullet. Ugly little, I want to call her the R word. Just dumb. And then let me take that back. Let me take that back. I think she's being used. I don't think she has an original thought. When she was like 12, they were like, how dare you? Somebody gave her a ChatGPT script to read. And she's a fake activist, and somebody's pawning her off and paying her money to fly private and fly jets and get on boats to be an activist in no man's land. Go to Gaza, and they're going to pull your pants down and take advantage of you without consent, if you know what I'm saying, and leave you on the side of the road. Quit acting like you were such a virtuous person. Y'all didn't say nothing about Gazans when they getting screwed over by their own people. They're getting screwed over by Hamas for all these years. Y'all don't protest. Y'all don't say Palestine shall be free. Hamas has got them hostage right now, and y'all don't care. Until Israel retaliates on something, y'all don't even care. People getting screwed over. They siphoning money from them. The leaders of Hamas are all billionaires, and they live in Qatar somewhere. And they just let these poor people get raked over the coals. Then they go do a terrorist attack and then hide behind their people. Y'all don't have a problem when they doing that. Y'all don't have a problem with them screwing the people over, with them being poor, with them spending the humanitarian aid and money that they get from the government on tunnels and weapons of mass destruction. Didn't care nothing. You didn't see Greta, nobody out there. You didn't see none of them wearing that little garb. They didn't care. Gay people getting hurt out there, they don't care. But when Donald Trump or somebody said, now they all the anti-Semitic fools are now out trying to be activists. Let's play a couple clips from Thunberg. Let's go to, we'll go clip one. Roll the clip.
My name is Greta Thunberg, and I am from Sweden.
Oh, maybe her name is Thunberg.
If you see this video,
My name is Greta Thunberg. Start it over. Greta Thunberg. Somebody need to get a belt and whoop this little girl. Roll the clip.
Greta Thunberg, and I am from Sweden. If you see this video, we have been intercepted and kidnapped in international waters by the Israeli occupational forces.
A group of activists, including Swedish activists,
Damn, what kind of kidnapping y'all doing? Somebody kidnapped me. If you see this, we're being kidnapped. They let you get on your iPhone and make a video. What kidnapping is happening to you? So what kidnapping is this? Is this the way Israel kidnap people? Well, I kidnap me. They give you water. They let you upload your Instagram videos. 5-star kidnapping. Nick say 5-star kidnapping. What is this? Exclusive. You get a VIP kidnap. These how VIPs get kidnapped. She's stupid, and I swear the media is back here supporting her and saying they got kidnapped. Go start the clip over. Let the dummy say it again. I didn't know she was getting kidnapped right now. I thought this was her uploading the videos. Play the clip.
My name is Greta Thunberg and I am from Sweden. If you see this video, we have been intercepted and kidnapped in international waters by the Israeli occupational forces.
A group of activists, including Swedish activist there, Greta Thunberg, who you just heard from, their mission to bring aid to Gaza was stopped by the Israeli military.
They giving them food?
Israeli forces boarded their ship, while they were in international waters. That ship had been heading to break a blockade in the region where a hunger crisis is growing for its more than 2 million people. The group released a statement saying, in part, quote, "The people of Gaza under siege, starving, and facing the threat of annihilation have the legal right to decide who enters their territories."
Hold on. The hypocrisy is insane. These people are floating on a boat to go to Gaza to support hungry people, yet they eating on the boat. If you such in support of them, how about you starve with them? How about you fast and show solidarity? They on there getting that water and food, sandwiches and everything. That is a high-speed kidnapping. Too bad Gaza don't kidnap people like this. Israel kidnap people and give them food and water and shelter and fly them back on a plane in luxury. Hamas kidnap people. The people they advocate for, when they kidnap people, they raping them and doing all kind of stuff. You can't make this up, bro. Like, don't y'all got something better to do? Y'all grown adults. Why are you going out here staging fake activist tours? Then get on there and say the Occupy. Israel's not occupying nothing. I said this in a recent video I saw somebody share, and it was good. So I ain't going to say all of it again. I'll just play that other one next time. Are you guys stupid or what? It's like the pit bull in the backyard that then mauled everybody that came over the house, and you advocating for the pit bull to be free. Oh, man, why y'all got him chained up like that? He's just a dog. Look how cute he is. Oh, I ain't going out there with him. I ain't going out there. I don't let him in the house. Don't let him in the house. No, but y'all can't do him like that. Well, you want us to let him go? Where he going to go? So he can attack all the dogs in the backyard? He's out of control. You know he's out of control. I know he's out of control. You afraid to go by him. But you want me to let him go. I'm inhumane. I'm abusing animals by locking up a dog. You don't even want to let him go. You go let him off the chain. Well, I'm not letting him off the chain. That ain't my dog. Well, what you advocating for? It's the same thing. We need to let Palestinians be free. For them to do what? Have Hamas run Israel? What are y'all talking about? They gonna get their land back to do what? To ruin Israel? To ruin all the holy sites? You think they gonna go and ruin all the Christian holy sites? You think there's gonna be tourism in Israel if you let Palestinians and Hamas take over? No, don't say sugar honey IT because they have Gaza and they elected a terrorist group. What make you think if they had all of Israel that they wouldn't elect a terrorist group to run Israel? And Israel would look like Gaza. And there'd be tunnels in Israel, in Jerusalem, in Tiberias, and everywhere else you can think of. Tunnels, terrorists, and what they're going to do is attack America, attack Europe, and hide behind their people. Don't make me fall out my chair. It's stupid to me. These people don't deserve they deserve what they're getting. I don't want to hear nobody say nothing else. Quit lying on these people. They deserve what they're getting. They're inhumane people. That's why they elect inhumane terrorists. And they're getting what they're getting. Now, is everybody there responsible for this? No. But as a whole, they're getting what they're getting. You know, last time I checked, Israel wasn't in Gaza. I didn't see a bomb hit a building in Gaza until they went over there and kidnapped and raped and slaughtered people on camera with body cameras. Cheering. Y'all remember when they were cheering? They were cheering. Oh, Allah Akbar, Allah Akbar. They got a girl beating them on that truck. Y'all remember that? Girl, leg folded over like this. They in the truck beating them and laughing and cheering as they go into the city. And I said, I hope they turn that whole thing into a parking lot. Laugh now. Keep laughing. I want. When you see these little kids up on the rocks, I want you to go back and play that video of them cheering when they had them Israelis hostages. I want you to go back when you see the little kids under the rocks and they all broken up and they carrying the baby screaming and crying. No, go back to when they were flying them things over the fence on them gliders. And no. Go show when them kids were running for their life and they're gunning them down in that parade. Every time I see an image of somebody crying about what the IDF did, I go back and remember them flying over there and killing them people in the kibbutz. I remember. Let's go back and watch the video. If you get amnesia, go back and watch what they did. And then you're going to see why they kids up on the rocks. Go back and see what they did. I don't care. I don't care. Right is right, wrong is wrong. You listen. For every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. And if you're going to go and do all that damage over somebody and you still got hostages, what do you think they're going to do to you? You deserve it. And y'all that voted for him deserve it. And all the people that had that ideology, this is what you get. Y'all uncivilized. You can't run a country. That's why you can't run Israel. And it's funny because the people talking out of three sides of their mouth. Allegedly, the Jews didn't own the land, right? They were forced to go back to this land, given to them by who? Somebody that wasn't even Jewish. And then y'all want to say the Jews took over the land. No, they did. They were given the land that really belonged to them. Have you ever read the Bible? That land belonged to the Jews way before the Palestinians, y'all claiming. And they got their land back. And look what they're doing with their land. Beautiful land. What's going on over there?
You guys wiping the windows.
Oh, I thought somebody was over there acting a fool. Beautiful land. Israel's a paradise just about. I went there. It was one of the most beautiful places I've seen. Beautiful history. You name it. And if them Palestinians had it, it'd be looking like junk like they part looked like. When we go where the Palestinians lived when I was in Israel, it looked like junk. The ghetto. The hood. It don't cost you nothing to clean your yard up. They got abandoned cars and stuff all in the yard. We go into the Christian holy sites and passing through there, and you go to where the Palestinians live, and it's terrible. I'm not saying every Palestinian is like that, but I'm just saying, bro, speak the truth. Anyway, it's not about Israel right now. Where am I going with this? Let's go more of the Greta Thunberg, her little kidnapping thing. What was the clip 2? Roll it.
They did an illegal act by kidnapping us on international waters and against our will, bringing us to Israel, keeping us in the bottom of the boat, not letting us getting out and so on. But that is not the real story here. The real story is that there is a genocide going on in Gaza and a systematic starvation following the siege and blockade now, which is leading to food, medicine, water that are desperately needed to get into Gaza is prevented from doing so. But of course, there are many attempts like this mission, both by sea and land, to break that siege and open up a humanitarian corridor.
Hey, you little retard! How about you talk about the hostages? Are you gonna talk about the hostages too? No, let's talk about the hostages. So you talk about the hungry Palestinians. Let's talk about the Israeli hostages that are still there. Are you gonna talk about that? Oh, they don't exist. Okay. I hope they all starve until they send them hostages back. Let them starve. Let them starve. I don't care. Send them hostages back. Y'all shouldn't. There was no starving people in Gaza the way y'all claim it is when them hostages wasn't over there. Send them back. And have your people come and apologize for what they did. And have Hamas leave Gaza. I don't want to hear nothing Thunberg and all these old cowards. I don't care if they hungry. They wouldn't be. Listen, it's Hamas' fault they hungry. So how about y'all go over there and talk about the occupation of Gaza from Hamas? Hamas is occupying Gaza, not Israel. Y'all hungry? Send them hostages back. Maybe they'll give y'all some food. Until then, shut the front door. Let's go to the clip of this fool on the airplane. Roll it. Look at
Quelle tête de cul, espèce de...
That's the coolest kidnapping I ever seen in my life. They send you on an airplane, commercial, with bodyguards. Roll the clip back. Play it. Or maybe it's not bodyguards. Stop it. I thought that was somebody protecting her. They did put her in the back of the plane, but she's still on the plane.
So in context, this is her getting deported from Israel.
Right. They put her on a plane. That's a kidnapping. That's a kidnapping of a lifetime. They get you. They give you food and water. They let you upload your They let you record your Instagram videos, and then they put you on an aircraft to go back. They didn't make you go by land. They make you drive and get on a boat and then drive and get on another boat to drive with armed guards and all this. They put you on a commercial airliner where you finna get some snacks and everything and go back to your country and play the victim. Now listen to what Trump had to say in response. Clip 4.
Do you have a message for Greta Thunberg, and did she come up on your call with the Prime Minister today?
Well, she's a strange person. She's a young, angry person. I don't know if it's real anger. It's hard to believe, actually, but I saw what happened. She's certainly different. Anger management. I think she has to go to an anger management class.
I agree, Donald Trump. The little girl is stupid. Somebody using her, or she grown enough to be completely stupid. We need humanitarian aid. I feel you if you went over there and said, we need to release the hostages and give them humanitarian aid. And that Hamas is occupying Gaza and they need to exit Gaza. Nobody's talking about Hamas. All right, let's get our sponsor of the show in real quick. I want to tell you guys about Masa Chips. I talk about Masa Chips all the time, but I'm telling y'all, I look at the stars up there, 4.7 out of 5 stars. And you know, some people write stars because they don't like the bag or something, so they give you less stars. But these chips are incredibly good. If you follow my stories on Instagram, you see me posting all the time with my family. We got 5 new bags of these just delivered, and we got the lime ones, but they haven't come in yet. These are really good chips, and they're healthy. All you got to do is look it up. Everybody wants to be healthy nowadays, and there's nothing wrong with substituting them terrible snacks to get something that's really good and healthy and tastes phenomenal. Now, let's go to the ingredients on the back. Organic corn, 100% grass-fed beef tallow, sea salt, onions. And then it has some of the other seasonings that make it a little spicy. I'll show you the way this chip look. I'm not trying to give another company any props, but this is a well-done chip. This reminds you of a Dorito chip, but 100,000% healthier. Look at that. I can't stop eating these. I ain't gonna even lie. Like, how many in this bag? I gave them a little bit. I've been eating this bag. This is my second bag I've eaten. No lie, man. These chips are good. So all you gotta do is go on to the link in the bio, or click on, or if you go to monsterchips.com/Officer Tatum, I think we got it in the chat. Make sure you put in code Officer Tatum and get 25% off your first bag. So if you want 25% off, you can pay for a price. It's worth it. But right now, we got a little discount for you guys if you want it. 25% off. If you put in Officer Tatum in the discount code section, you'll get a discount. These chips are incredible. Let me just say this real quick. All of them are really good, but my favorites are Habanero, which is the one I have, and the lime. Those two are to die for. But some of you guys may like the other flavors. The original is good, and also the blue ones are good as well. They're all really, really good chips. But Habanero and lime are my absolute favorite. Those are the ones that I order every month. All right? So I appreciate you guys. Get you some chips. Be healthy. Especially get yourself some healthy alternatives to all that garbage that's out here. All right. Let's see. I got a little bit more time left. I want to talk about this person that's supposed to be non-binary. The emasculation of men and the acceptance by cowards is how a community falls. Why does a person have to come on here with hamburger meat on their chest, taking an award, trying to be cute? I don't get it, bro. You a dude, you an ugly dude, and you put nails on and you impersonating a woman. Like, I remember back in the day, you would get embarrassed by doing this. Now, you might as well walked up there with blackface on, because it's a such thing called woman face. You're going up, you're not a woman. You don't live as a woman. You are going up and impersonating what you think a woman look like. If you ask me, women don't have hair on their chest. Last time I checked. And women ain't this ugly either. So quit trying to impersonate women. It's an embarrassment. You either a woman or not. Being a woman ain't just wearing a dress, wearing long hair and fingernails. Women are far more than that. Softer, they smell better, they keep themselves looking better. They're women, not burly men with hair on their chest, stinky armpits, smell like gunpowder and onion rings. I mean, what? Like, how are you saying you're a woman? You don't fit that description, and they can have children. You know how spectacularly incredible that is? Every person that's alive today came from a woman. But you dumb fools want to impersonate women and get away with it. Listen to this idiot.
Julie Harris has a Tony for playing Mary Todd Lincoln. Sorry. I want to thank the other nominees, George and John and Harry and Daniel and Louis. It's an honor to be in your company. And more than that, it's been a sincere pleasure spending time with you over these warm salads at all these luncheons. I have to thank, first of all, hi, Mom. I love you. I'll call you when I can. 23 seconds. Sam Pingleton and the producers, Lucas McMahon and Carly Briglia, Mike Lavoie and Kevin McCullum, and the cast, Conrad, James, Bianca, Tony, the extended cast, and most importantly, the most important people in my life, my friends who are here tonight, Jeffrey, Jen, Ben, everyone watching at home, Christian, Dakota, the whole gang, John, Claudia, and Tebow from Grindr, and Amy Sedaris, who always reminds me how important she is to me, and she is. Okay, thank you very much. Good night.
You know, first of all, look at all these effeminate, I want to call them the F word. I want to call the F words real bad. I'm not. Lord, help me have patience with these people, please, like you do. All right. I can't stand these gay men. I can't stand them. They're so wimpish and it bothers me, right? But I don't have to live around people. I don't have to talk to them. They in their life, live their life. I live my life. I don't want no harm, but I don't like them. I don't like when they feminine and weak and twisted, and it just annoys the heck out of me. But anyway, it's funny that they let gay men get away with stuff that straight men can't do. They let gay men get away with stuff that women would be shunned for. When he just made a Grindr reference, Grindr is a sex app where dudes meet up and play with each other's butts. That's what that is. Now imagine if a man got up there and made in something about Tinder or some sex site. People would be criticizing him for a bad joke. If a woman got on there and talked about how she hooking up with guys on a dating site, they'll be criticizing her for being over-sexualized. But gay dudes can do whatever they want. They can call women bees. They can slap women. They can do all kind of stuff. Most of them are I don't say most of them. There's a lot of them that are pedophiles. And they let them do all this other stuff. They go and adopt kids, 2 pedophiles adopting a kid, abusing them. And even if you ain't physically abusing them, you're abusing them by not giving them a real dad at the house. Because both of y'all are, Lord, I'm trying to get my language right. I'm really not trying to go here, but y'all making me go here. Because everybody being so fake these days. You won't say the truth. You won't tell it like it is. Gay dudes shouldn't be adopting kids. I don't care who you are. 2 gay dudes with a son is crazy to me. A child shouldn't be subject to 2 weak dudes in the house. And then one humping the other one. That is dysfunctional. How a young man gonna grow up to be a man and he don't see a man. He see 2 gay dudes. Both of y'all ain't men. And y'all ain't even acting like men. One is the man, one act like a girl. Most of y'all relationships, sometimes you have two weirdos that are both men or whatever you call them. But you can't be that much of a man. It's the man on the back of you. When a guy's banging you, you gotta roll off of him. In the words of I can't think his name now. In the words of basketball legend, when a guy's banging you, Charles Barkley. There you go. You gotta roll off that guy. Don't tell me you some manly man asking a guy you got a dude on your back. You can live your life, do your thing. I'm not gonna hurt you. I'm not in your life. I'm just giving an opinion. If you're offended by it, then you just be offended. A guy on your back and you talking about, I'm a man. No, you're not, bro. You letting a man get on your back like that, bro? Really? You up underneath another man. Like, what are you saying, bro? What are you saying, bro? How does another man respect you and you're on the bottom of another man? Like, you can't claim that stuff, bro. You submitting to a man. What? Anyway. But people won't tell it like it is. So that's why I have beef with that stuff, man. I think it's wrong. I think people are sexually perverted. I think people need counseling. And I know it's a lot of conservative gay dudes that follow me. I'm just telling you how I feel. Like I try to talk to guys and it just don't make no sense to me, man. You ain't got no real reason why you can't be with a girl. You really don't, man. You really don't, bro. You really don't. And women just perpetuate this stuff in men. Quit feeding into that stuff. Dude, twisting harder than women are. I don't understand. What is that? A guy walking around, girl, you like, bro, my wife don't even twist like that. How did you learn to twist? You came out the womb twisting like that. How did you learn to twist? Your mama don't twist like that. How you twisting? How you going, throwing your wrist like that? Women don't really throw their wrist that hard. What are you doing? You putting on an act. You acting gay. I'm going to be super flamboyant and wear these little things and say child and girl and flip my wrist and do all this. You hanging out with girls ain't even that flamboyant. Bro, you putting on the front. Y'all need to pray. You need to pray. You need to talk to Jesus about this. I'm sick of it, man. I'm sick of us being so passive about this stuff, man. It's overrunning the church. You got people in the church, a gay pastor. What does that mean, bruh? Then you got that pastor talking about Cam Newton's legs. You got some pretty legs, man. Bro, don't you pray enough to realize that don't come across right? Talking about a man legs is pretty. God dang. And he a fraud anyway. So I ain't gonna go into that. Katie Hobbs is officially under investigation. I'm gonna talk about this tomorrow. So just keep it on the note. I'm gonna keep it at the head of my notes. Katie Hobbs being investigated for allegedly $400,000 in donations from a group home company. The company didn't get a 60% rate increase from the state. They think she's doing pay to play. I would argue she probably is. We'll talk about it tomorrow, though. All right. If they got super chats, give me the super chats. We ain't got them pulled up. I love you guys. I appreciate it. I'll see you on the next one. We're out of here.
Oh, the land of the free and the home of